Hello everyone. In this session, I'm going to show you how you can create a React app, that is to-do app in React.js using JavaScript coding. Okay, but before we start, I want to show you some few JavaScript concepts which I'm going to be using in this React application. So first of all, let us create that HTML file for us. So I have a folder here called as HTML files. Let me right click on that, click on the new file and say to-do app underscore app.html file. Okay, and I need a JavaScript file for this one. So what I'll do, I'll click on this JavaScript files folder, right click, go to new and say to-do.js. Now let's come to the HTML code. So I'll use the shift not symbol, and the emit option will give me the entire body structure of the HTML page. And here let me simply type in h1 saying that to do app. Let me save the file. Okay, now this to-do.js has to be linked inside this to-do underscore app.html. Okay, and that can be done inside the body tag like this, and say script src is equal to, in double quotes, I'm going to first give forward slash and navigate to JavaScript files folder, and inside that one just give forward slash once, and as you can see, as soon as you give forward slash, it is going to show all the files which are there in that particular folder. So now let's click on this one, that is to-do.js, and close the script tag. So ending script tag, automatically it will come. So now save this one and let's go to to-do.js file. Now here, just to check, I'll simply say console.log to do app. Let's put a semicolon and save this file. Now let's come back to to-do.html file. Now right click anywhere on the file and say open with live server. Okay, it's going to open up your browser like this, and now if you're using a desktop, just press F12 and you are going to get the console window, and at the beginning it is going to say uh, it has failed to load the resources. Not to worry about this one. Okay, you just have to refresh your file and that warning symbol will go off, and to do app which we had typed in the to-do.js file, this one, okay, you will be able to see here. Okay, now let's come to our HTML code. Okay, here, so here what I want to show first is let's come to to-do.js file. Okay, here let me just remove off this and say I'm going to show map function. Map function is a callback function. Okay, and how it will be used, I want to show you in React. Okay, so let me take an array called as nums, and in which one I'm going to store some variables 1 2 3 4 and 5. Okay, what I want to do is I want to square each of the numbers of this particular array called as nums. So what I'm going to do, on this nums I'm going to use the map function. Okay, map function takes a function as the argument like this, and especially it will be an arrow function, so that's why it is called as callback functions. So now in this arrow functions, see, this is the inside arrow function. It is going to take each number, okay, from this nums array. Okay, it is going to take each number and it is going to return us, okay, each number multiplied with each number. Okay, so 1 is going to get multiplied with itself, 2 is going to get multiplied with itself. Okay, and this whole thing, okay, whatever it is going to return, okay, I'm going to store it in a separate variable called as constant squares is equal to, like this. And then what we'll do, we'll console.log those square values and put a semicolon at the last. So let's save the file and let's go to the console window, and as you can see, we are getting 1 4 9 16 and 25. Those are the squares of 1 2 3 4 and 5. Okay, so this will be the first concept which I'll be using to do the to do app application in React. Okay, next I want to talk about is, okay, so let me just write it here, that the first one, see, like this, the first one is the map function, and the second one, let me say console.log. Second concept I'm going to be using of JavaScript is spread operator. Okay, usually denoted by three dot symbols like this, dot dot dot. Okay, so this is what is called as the spread operator. Okay, let me show you how it actually works. So let me just take a constant a1, an array, okay, where let's say I have 11, 22 and 33. Okay, so we have an array called as a1, and it has 11, 22 and 33 variables inside that. Okay, now what I want to do is, first let us console.log a1 and check what are the actual values present inside a1. So let me just save it, and let me just go back to the browser, and as you can see we have got 11, 22 and 33. Now on this a1, okay, see guys, on this a1, okay, I'm going to say use this. Okay, I want to get back an array. Okay, I want to get back an array, and first what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a spread operator like this. Okay, three dot symbols, and I'm going to say please add 55 to that. Okay, on a1, see guys, this is a1. Okay, after 33 I want to add 55 to that. So what I'm going to say, I'm just going to say a1, okay, just return us an array like this. Like these three symbols will be these three values, okay, the previous values which are present in a1, and 55 is added to that. Okay, so 55 is added to that, and the whole list, okay, I'm going to update inside a1 itself just like this. Okay, so we have a spread operator, okay, which works in this manner. And now what you are supposed to do is just remove this a1 from inside and put it here at the end of those three dot symbols, and just give a comma. Okay, so I'm saying spread all the previous values of a1 and just attach 55 at the end of 33 like this. And now let's console.log a1, console.log a1, give semicolon at the last. Let's save it, and let's go to the browser, and it says uncaught type error, assignment to a constant variable. Okay, at the it says at line number 16 like this. Let me just go back to the code, and let's do like this here. Okay, we have constant a1. Okay, so that's why new values cannot be assigned. So let me just make it as a let variable, and now this time uh, that error will be gone, and as you can see 11, 22 and 33, now 55 got attached to the end of the list. Okay, so this is going to be the second concept which I'm going to be using extensively in this particular application. Okay, so first one was the map function, and the second one was the spread operator. Okay, now the third one, okay, the third concept which I'm going to use, okay, that is called as the slice. Okay, splice function. Okay, so let me write it here, splice like this. Okay, it usually takes two arguments. Okay, the item which we have to remove, and the index values, or the particular number of values which we are supposed to remove. Okay, so now let me just use one more example, just to give you an example. So let me say constant um, arr. Okay, there is an array like this. Let me use the square symbols for displaying the array. I will say 11, 12, 13, 14, and let's say one more last value 15. So we have an array over here which has 11, 12, 13, 14 and 15. Okay, now on this arr, okay, I'm going to say use the splice function. Okay, now let us give the 12. Okay, see, 12 is the value which I want to remove from this arr array. Okay, and I want only that one value to get removed, so I'll just simply put it here as 1. Okay, now the rest of this okay, rest of the values 11, 13, 14, 15, okay, I want to store it back inside arr itself like this. Okay, and here instead of constants, let me say let. Okay, because constant variables we cannot reassign new values. Okay, so now we have new values which we have assigned in this variable, which is arr. So let's console.log that value arr, and now let me just console.log it before the splice function also, so we can see what happens exactly when I'm going to use the splice function. So let me just go to the code, and as you can see we have got an empty array. Okay, so it says we have this 11, 12, 13, 14 and 15. Okay, but it did not slice this value 12 from it. Okay, so I was expecting 11, 13, 14 and 15. So let me just go and check the code. Okay, see guys, here I have given, okay, here I have given as 12. Okay, I wanted to remove 12 from that. Okay, now please note here that I'm trying to remove 12 from this particular array, but here we are getting an empty array like this. Okay, why that is happening is because this splice function, it is expecting the first value to be the index of any of these values. Okay, any of these values. See, suppose if I remove this 12 and comma 1, and if I say only 1, okay, so what it will do is it will just remove the first value, that is 11, and it will give the rest of the values as 12, 13, 14 and 15, and it will store it inside this variable ARR. Okay, so let me just demonstrate. Okay, I'll save this file and let's go to the console window and check. So as you can see, we have got 12, 13, 14 and 15. So the first value 11 got deleted from the list. Okay, but when I'll use this in React, okay, what I'm going to do is here I'm going to pass the index values. Okay, I'm going to pass the index values of these items. Okay, so whichever index comes here at the first place, okay, either it might be of this 12 or 14 or 15, any one value. Okay, so let's say whichever index value we have given, and that one value should get deleted from the list. Okay, so these are the, okay, these are the three concepts, okay, which we have to know very well in order to do the React app. Okay, that is to do list or to do task app in React. Okay, so let me just minimize this file. So this is also not required, so let me just close off this. Okay, and let me just create a folder here on the desktop. Okay, let me say to do underscore app underscore React. So this will be the folder in which we'll create our project. So let me just copy the file location. Okay, open cmd, your command prompt, and first navigate to that particular folder. So I'm going to say cd, paste the path over here and click enter. Okay, now I've already installed the create react app, so you can also do like this, create react hyphen app. Okay, if in case you have not installed, means this code is not going to work. Okay, in order to install it, I'll just show you the code, that is npm install hyphen g, means globally. Okay, you just have to say create hyphen react hyphen app. I have already installed, but still I'm going to do it once again. Okay, it is going to install this particular software called as create react app, which is issued by Facebook. Now using this software, create create hyphen react hyphen app. Okay, I'm going to name my application's name. Okay, see guys, we are inside this particular folder now and it is totally empty right now, but as soon as I type my project name over here, that is going to appear here in this area. Okay, so I'll say to do underscore app. Okay, hit enter and it will start downloading the react dom, react scripts, and create react app template. So that is a shortcut for CRA templates. So as you can see here at the desktop, we have got that particular folder as well. Okay, let me just increase the screen size and let me show it as an extra large icon. So it says to do app and it has started downloading all the files which is required for this application. Okay, now just copy this location. Okay, just copy this location. Okay, open any one of your editors whichever you are using, Visual Studio Code or Atom or Sublime Text or anything. Just go to file, say open folder. Now navigate to that particular folder. Okay, then click select folder. Okay, so as you can see, I think I have given the wrong location. Okay, so this is that folder location. Let me just copy one more time. Let me go to file, open folder, let me paste that here, hit enter. Okay, so desktop to do react app, to do app, that's it, and click on select folder and you'll be able to see that project structure opened over here, and we have this src source folder, app.js file in which we will be coding app.css for the css files and all those things. Okay, and the command prompt which is running here at the back, okay, it has already installed everything, and you are going to see these three at the last. Okay, if you get that, okay, then you have successfully created your app. And now it says you have to navigate inside your project folder and then hit or run this command, that is npm start, to run the application. So now from the command prompt only, let me type cd, okay, and the project name I have given is to do underscore app. Hit enter, you will be inside that particular folder like this. Okay, now to run the project, okay, all you have to do is type the command npm start, hit enter, and your browser is automatically going to start, the default browser whichever you are using. Okay, and like this you are going to get the react symbol on the screen. Okay, if you get this, okay, if you get this, it means successfully you have created an application, okay, that is called as to do app. Okay, and you are ready to code inside that one. Okay, so let me just minimize the screen a little bit so that we can see the code properly. Okay, so like this, so we have our to do app in react. Let me just increase the screen size a bit like this. Okay, now let's come inside our main app. So app.js is the main file which is rendering all these components. Okay, so I'll remove from header to header. Okay, and here simply let me say like this, in h1. Okay, let me say in h1 like this, to do app. Let's save it, and you'll be able to see that particular heading coming in the screen like this. Okay, we don't need this logo import statements, so let me just save that, and we're not going to get any kind of warning. Okay, now let's come to app.css file. Okay, we'll be writing our own css custom code, so let me just select all the css things and let me delete those things. Okay, so now our to do app is coming at the left of the corner. Okay, now let's do one more thing. Let's add Bootstrap to this HTML file. Okay, so let's go to getbootstrap.com website and just click on get started. Okay, you're going to get the CSS links, the JavaScript links, and all those things. Okay, just copy this CSS link. Okay, go to the public folder. There you have your index.html file. Okay, just like any other application, the CSS file has to be linked inside the head tag of the HTML file. Okay, so we have linked our CSS Bootstrap CSS linker. Okay, and now let's go to the browser once again and just scroll down. You're going to see three. So this is one, and these are the two JavaScript files. So let's copy this one and put it just before closing the body tag, just like this. So one is done. Okay, now let's go to the separate these two. Copy, just click on copy and come here and paste it. Okay, so this is how you add a Bootstrap to your HTML code. So this is not required anymore. So let's close index.html file. Please note it will be inside this public folder like this. Okay, now src. Let's come to the src folder, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create. Okay, I'll right click on the src folder, create a new folder called as components. Hit enter, and you're going to get that particular folder. Now inside this components folder, I'm going to create a new file called as to do app.js. Okay, please remember you have to give .js as the extension because this is all JavaScript code. Okay, now app.css file is there. Okay, we don't read it right now, so let me close that one. So we have our app.js, and the child component which will be showing inside app.js is to do app.js. Okay, so let me split the screen and we'll get two windows like this. Okay, on the left side let me keep the app.js, and on the right side to do app.js. Okay, now let's come to do app.js file. Okay, I'm using the emit option. So if you just say react functional component, that is shortcut for RFC, and hit enter, you're going to get a function like this, a functional component. So let me just remove this export statement and put it at the bottom like this, and here I will say to do app, we have the export like this. Okay, and now it says it has a div, and we have an import statement here, and let's save this file. Okay, let's save this file, and now let's come to app.js file. Okay, here what we will have to do is the components name we are exporting from here to do app.js file is this particular name. Okay, that name we will have to put it over here and close it like a HTML tag over here. Okay, and whatever is written inside this div right now, okay, to do app, it is going to show in our web page. So let me just but before that, okay, before that we have to import, okay, the to do app, okay, from this components folder. So the React only has written the code for us. See, it is saying it's in the components folder. That file is called as to do app.js file. So now let me just save this. Okay, let's go to the browser. Let me just come to the browser, and as you can see, we have got that component as well. Okay, it is showing. And now let me just come here, and we will be designing our entire app inside this particular area instead of saying to do app like this. Okay, now let me just save it, and first let's come to app.js file, and here let's add a bootstrap class name. So let me say class name is equal to first let us say uh, text hyphen center. Let's save it, and let's go to the browser and see. As you can see, we have made the text to come exactly in the center of the page. Let me remove this. Okay, now just like that, let's come to our to do app.js file. Okay, now first of all, let me add a class name to this one called as container. Okay, container, and let's put a border around our app. So let's save this one. Let's go to the browser, and as you can see, we have got the 70% of this particular app, and we have made it like this. Okay, we have put a border around that. Okay, and let's say uh, whatever we write. Okay, next. Okay, see, let me just put it as h1. Okay, inside that container, and say here like this, to do app in React like this. Okay, and this h1, okay, let it be like this only. Or what we can do is we can simply just remove it off. Okay, two h1s are not required. Okay, our to do app only will render an h1 which will say to do app in React. And let's save it, and let's check once. Okay, so we have that to do app, and let's use a little bit of margin at the top. Margin top. Okay, let's add 3 pixels. So let me just give the space over here. Let's save it, and let's go to the app, and as you can see, we have got a little bit of gap over here. Now let's add a class name to this h1. Class name, let me say text hyphen center. Save it, and it is going to come exactly in the center of this particular page. Okay, perfect. Now after this h1, I want to have an input field. So let's do one thing. Let's go to our Bootstrap code, and let me maximize this screen. And here you just have to select input, something like this, and choose any one type of input fields whichever you like. Okay, here we have the small, we have the large. Okay, and here we have something like inline styles with multiple inputs and everything, but all we need is only one thing, which says here like this, like we have to enter the task and click on this button, so that when we click on this button, whatever we type here, it becomes a list object. So let me just copy this whole division itself, and let's go to our Visual Studio Code, and after this h1, inside this particular div, okay, let me have that class name, that whole division like this. Okay, let's first make the indentation proper. Okay, so we have that taken care of. Okay, and now why this is coming as an error? Because all the React components has to be closed like this. Okay, sorry, not this one, input field. So where is this input field ending? So here. Okay, here is where the input field is ending, and it has to be closed like this. Okay, so one change we have to do like this. And class is a keyword in React, so it can't be used for giving CSS code. So you will have to say class name, and it follows camel case. So for this button also, I'm going to say name, NAME. Make sure N is capital. Okay, so we have successfully given okay, an input field along with the button. So let me just remove this id. I don't want that id anymore. Okay, class name, it says btn secondary and all those things. And a secondary, I'm going to change it to primary. I want a blue color. Okay, I want a blue color. So the button, I made it as blue color outline. Okay, like a border. So here we have our button. Okay, here we have to write, enter the task. Okay, whatever task we write, that is going to appear like this. Okay, to do list I want to create. Okay, now first of all, what I'm going to do is the placeholder which says recipient's name, I'm going to remove that and say enter today's task. Enter the task. That's it. Okay, and area label is also not required. I'm going to remove that. Okay, I'm just going to have this one, that is enter today's task. And here for the button, okay, I think everything is fine. Okay, let's go and check the code. Okay, so as you can see, we have entered today's task. And here the button says button. Okay, I'm going to change it as add. So let's come up here and remove that button and say add. And button type outline is primary, right? And I can say like this, one more class name to that, button hyphen success. Like this, I want a green color button. So I've said success. Okay, success means green color. So let me go there, and as you can see, we have this add button which is coming like this. And first let's remove this code. Okay, let's remove this code. Okay, and text, if you want, you can change it into some other color you want. Okay, but first let's check the code. Okay, I guess this is okay. Okay, so we have to enter something and click on the add button, and that will appear here as a list of items. So let me just come back to our code. And after this division, okay, after this division, we have to create an list. Okay, so it is definitely going to be an unordered list. And let's go to our Bootstrap website and say list items or something like that. Okay, so this looks good. So I guess we'll copy this UL where we have each and li items, and let's put it in our code. So it's along with the Bootstrap class names and everything, so I don't think we have to do anything much. We'll take care of the indentation like this. Let me select these lines. Okay, I guess this should do it. Okay, so I think designing our HTML pages, okay, for this particular app, I think it's done. Okay, I think it's done. Only what I'll do is I'll use the smaller width for this list items. So let's come here and let's put container class name. Okay, so wherever it says class, okay, I'm just going to make that as class names. Okay, I'm selected multiple and say class name, class name like this. Okay, so that has been taken care of. Okay, now let's save the file and let's go here, and it's done. Okay, and I don't think this container got applied because it was the UL item. And let's do one thing then. Okay, let's put it inside a div like this. Okay, the closing tag, I'll remove it from here. I'll remove it from here and put it over here. Okay, so now it's inside a separate div. And this class name which we have provided here, I'll remove it from here and I'll give it here like this. Class name is equal to container, TAINER. Okay, this is a Bootstrap class name which makes the width as 70%. So as you can see, we have got a little bit of more gap over here on each and every list item. Now let's come back to our code, and here inside this div, first of all, let me give one h3. Okay, let us give an h3 saying that the entire task list is this one, whichever that user has entered. So let me say task list, and this task list has to be at the left only. So I'm not going to use any kind of text center or something properties like that, or Bootstrap class names. So let me just check the code. Okay, as you can see, the task list heading is coming over here, and this is the h1 task. Okay, and we have a form over here which says enter the task, and click on this add button. Okay, as soon as we click on the add button, it should appear one by one here as a list of elements. Okay, and let's say we give a little bit of um, margin, let's say. Okay, let's say margin on all the sides are like 3 pixels. Okay, the entire UL, and let me check. Okay, so I think this should do very fine. And one last thing, for this h1 which is here at the top, okay, let's put a margin of 5 pixels for that also. Okay, so that we'll be getting a like a gap over here. Okay, so I think this looks much better. Okay, now let's do the React coding for this one. Okay, so our all the HTML code is done. Okay, now this file, okay, this file is being rendered here in this particular app.js file. Okay, so now let me just remove this, and let's come only for this particular window. Okay, that is to do dot app.js file. Okay, now the first thing what we are going to do is, okay, in this application the user is going to enter something here, and now this is a blank screen, and as he types, okay, as he types, okay, that is going to be the value which here we are going to show to the user, that user has typed something over here. So we have to take care of the input field. So let's create, okay, so let's create a function which handles all the input variables. Okay, which handles all the input variables, and that those variables will show it inside this particular text box as the value for that input field. Okay, so first let me show you where is that input field. So this is that input field, and here it says input type equal to text. Okay, and enter the task, this is the placeholder. Okay, and the value which they are going to type. Okay, so I'll say value is equal to, I'm going to use the curly braces. Okay, because this I want to show dynamically. Okay, I want to say that this value changes dynamically. So this is how we show the dynamic data which is coming inside the function. Okay, so now let's do those functions inside this particular functional component to do app. Okay, so I'm going to say, okay, handle input. Okay, this is going to be our function, and let me just create it like an arrow function like this. Okay, in which one event is going to happen. Okay, so that is entering the user, entering the task. Okay, that is the event which is going to happen. Okay, now I want to set states. Okay, I want to set some states inside this particular functional component. Okay, but we cannot have states inside a functional component. Okay, for that reason what we will have to do is we will have to create a class based component like this, class to do. Okay, and it's not going to be a function anymore, so we will have to remove this parenthesis, and we have to extend. Okay, we have to use the extends keyword to a inbuilt class called as component, sorry. Okay, which we are going to get from this React library, and as you can see we have the code itself has written that. Okay, and each and every class, okay, each and every class like this will be having a main function. Okay, that name is called as the render function like this, and with semicolon opened and one semicolon added at the last like this. Okay, and just before the render function we are going to create all the functions like this, and here I'm going to create the state. Okay, so I'm going to say state is equal to, okay, or we can say like this, okay, using hooks. Okay, if you are using hooks, then this can be a functional component. Okay, if you are using state, then it has to be a class based component. Okay, so let me just show you that also very quickly. Okay, if it was a functional component like this, okay, then we don't need this render function anymore, and here instead of class this will say this is a functional component. okay, function to do app like this. Okay, and now I want to have a hook for the input field. So let me say constant. I'm going to use the array symbol and I will say input. Okay, input value will come. Let me just correct the spelling. Okay, and for this input value we'll have a setter function, that is input set input value. Okay, and we are going to say use state. Okay, use state is an inbuilt function in React, okay, which we will have to import. Okay, and instead of giving it like this, okay, we don't require component anymore. I'm going to say I'm going to use the use state. Okay, I'll use this React class. Okay, and this function use state from React. Okay, and here I've written that the input value, okay, at the beginning will be an empty string. Okay, as empty string. Okay, now what we have a function called as handle input. Okay, it is going to have a event, okay, that is entering of the input value by the user. Okay, so first what we have to do is we have to capture whatever the user is entering inside the input field. So this event, okay, we have to target and capture its value. Okay, capture its value. Okay, and I'm going to store it inside a variable saying that entered value, entered value is equal to whatever event happened, we have to target that and get that value. Okay, and now we have to use this setter function, that is set input value like this, and whatever the user has entered, okay, that is going to be the state right now. See, earlier it was a blank string, so we were seeing an empty code. Okay, this I have to reload it. Okay, because we have not completed the code, that's why it is showing like this. Okay, but let me come back to the code and finish the code. Okay, so here this entered value, okay, that is going to be the new state. Okay, that is going to be the new state like this. Okay, and that input value, see, that input value which got initialized as the state, okay, that is going to get shown over here in the input field, in this input field. Okay, so let me just save this and let's go back to the code and let's refresh this. Okay, and it is saying we have something, some error. It is saying we have, it is expected to have something like this. Okay, and let's check our code right now. Okay, so let's go to the code and let's go to the top. Okay, see guys, here earlier I had this curly brace which I had removed when I was converting it to class based component. Okay, and this time I'm using a functional component itself to do this state values. One is input value and we have a setter function for that set input value. Okay, so now let me just go to the code and refresh the code, and it says here one is extra. Okay, that is from the class based component which I created earlier. Okay, so let me just get rid of that also. Let's save it and let's go to the code right now. Okay, and let's refresh that, and it says input handle input function is not defined. Okay, handle input function is not defined. Okay, so let me just make this as two screens because I'm how like this, and let me just make this come towards the left side. Okay, so now what it is saying is this function, okay, handle input, okay, handle input we have not initialized anywhere. Okay, so that's what it says. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is um, now what we will do is this input field which we have chosen, where the user is going to enter. Okay, see, earlier it will be a blank string, okay, empty string, and the value which it is supposed to enter and reset the state is whatever the input the user has given. But when is that going to happen? See, when is that going to get happen? When this function is going to get called. Okay, so here I'm going to have an event called as on change. Okay, on change event, I'm going to use the curly braces and write that function's name over here, that is handle input like this. Okay, and when something changes in the input field, okay, this function is going to get triggered. Okay, and we are going to set a new state for our input field. See, this is the input value, okay, which will be empty at the beginning, and we are going to use the setter function to set the state as the new entered value as a state. Okay, so now let me just save this one, and it is saying the input handle. Okay, see, the input handle is still not defined, it is saying. Okay, so here, okay, one more thing I can do is, see, I can write this. Okay, see, I can write this as the calling function like this. Okay, now let me just save it, and still I'm getting the same answer. Okay, see, it is saying you still have not declared this okay, handle input function, okay, which we have written here at the top. Okay, so let me just get rid of those two curly braces first. Okay, because we don't have to do that anymore. Let me just save it. First, let me tell you why we are getting this error on the screen. Okay, even if after having this function over here right now. Okay, see, this is happening because this is a functional component. Okay, and we have declared our own functions as an arrow functions. Okay, see, we have to rectify this issue like this. Okay, we just have to remove those arrow functions code like this, and you just have to say this is a normal function like this using the function keyword, saying that we have a function inside this to do app functional component called as handle input events. Okay, which will take an event like this. That's it. Okay, and that solves our problem. Okay, so here let's see, we have a few nction function handle events. Let me refresh the page. Okay, and from here at the last, we don't have to call that function. That is line number 20. Okay, we just have to write the function's name. That's it. Okay, now let's save it, and as you can see, we have got our list of items. Okay, and here now we can type anything, and that becomes the state of that particular entered value. Okay, so our first task is done. Okay, that we are entering something inside the input field of this particular form. Okay, so the next task is, when we click on this, whatever we have entered here, that should get appended to this particular list. Okay, and show that value here as a one of the list items. So let's go to that particular add button. Okay, so this is that particular button which says class name equal to button success and all those things, and here. Okay, so let's come here inside that button, and we are going to have an on click event on this one. Okay, and this event I'll call it as add to list or something like this. Add to list. Okay, that will be the function which we'll be creating, and let's create that function over here. Okay, so let me say function add to list, and we're going to have the curly braces for those, and this one will be having an event. Okay, a event will happen. Okay, that is when this button gets clicked, we'll have an on click event for that. Okay, this page will be refreshing. Okay, but first, for all these items, all the li items, okay, let's create one more hook like this. Okay, so let me say constant, okay, all list items, and we'll be having a setter function for that, all list items. Okay, initial state, so I'm going to use the use state function once again, and I'm going to say initially it will be an empty array. Okay, nothing will be seen on the screen like this. Okay, it says cont. Okay, I made a spelling mistake over here, so let me correct that. Okay, so all these list items, okay, should come when they enter something, and when we click on it add, okay, to this array. Okay, to this array, which is an empty array at the beginning, we have to set, okay, we have to set the elements like that. Okay, so whichever the elements are already existing, we have to add one whenever something gets entered. Okay, so first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove all the other list items except for one. Okay, except for one. Okay, here we'll show only that one particular item. So let me just refresh the code, and as you can see, we have got only first item. Okay, see, now let's come to that add to list function. Okay, so first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say like we are going to set all the list items. Okay, using the setter function, we are going to say we inside this I'm going to use an arrow function like this, and I will say uh, we have some existing values, existing existing values inside that particular array. Okay, all list items. Okay, it might be an empty array itself. Okay, no worries. Okay, whatever existing values are there. Okay, whatever existing values are there. Okay, we have to add the new input value. Okay, input whatever input value they are going to enter over here. Okay, and this it has to return us an array like this. So I'm using the square symbols like this, and I'm going to say dot 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 the spread operator on the existing values. Okay, and I will add whatever the input value the user gives to that. Okay, so this is how we are going to set. Okay, this is how we are going to set the input value to all the existing values. Okay, so if it is an empty array at the beginning, so whatever the input value they give, okay, like this, so let's say um, buy some milk. Okay, when I click on the add button, it should get added over here along with an item. The second item should come like buy some milk. Okay, but one more thing what we have to do here is as soon as something, as soon as when you click on the add function, this should go off like this. Means the input value, okay, the state of this input value should become an empty array once again. So what we will do is after adding each and every element by clicking on this add button, okay, we will use the set input value once again, okay, here outside, and make the input state as empty string once again. Okay, so let me just save it, and first let's say like this. Okay, learn react is the task, and when I click, as you can see, it became an empty string again. Okay, now what we have to do is whatever this list items are there, all list items, okay, that we have to show here. Okay, that will be the li item. So here, okay, using a curly brace like this, okay, I'm going to say all list items you show here exactly. So let me just save it. Okay, as you can see, buy some milk and learn react. Okay, earlier previously I had written these 3 lines of code. Okay, so let me just refresh it and let me write it one more time here. Okay, so I will say walk the dog, and let's click on that add button, and as you can see, we are getting that particular item. Okay, walk the talk. Okay, so like this, whatever we write here. Okay, so let me write like this, learn react, and click on add button. Okay, as you can see, we are seeing, okay, that the previous value, okay, it is getting concatenated with the new value which we are doing, and that is because of this particular spread operator. Means the existing values, okay, along with the next input values which we are showing. Okay, but I don't want this particular thing to happen. Okay, I want it as one by one as an array of items. Okay, so this whole thing, okay, this whole thing, okay, I will use a map function. Okay, I'm going to use a map function to display all those items as a list of items. Okay, not only one single item like this. So first let me just refresh the page. Okay, now we don't have any kind of task, but still I'm getting this square color box. Okay, this is because when you click on this add button, okay, and when you refresh the page, okay, all the items are going to get lost. Okay, and every time the state is going to get set as an empty array. Okay, and this should not happen. Okay, this should not happen. So what we are going to do is when we have added something to the list and clicked on the add button, the page tends to refresh itself and set the state back again to an empty array like this. So what we are going to do is we are going to prevent that from happening. So this event which is happening, okay, which is refreshing the page, okay, that event, it should prevent the default behavior. So we are going to say prevent default. That is an inbuilt function. Okay, so now when I save this one and let's refresh it. Okay, let's refresh the code, and it is not going to happen anymore. Okay, so let's come to the code, and here, see, here we have that one li item like this, okay, which is absolutely not there anymore. So first of all, what we are going to do is we are going to write some JavaScript code inside our HTML tag. So here is where I'm going to use the curly brace symbol over this list item, one list item like this. Okay, so this is how you write a JavaScript code. Okay, now inside this one, I'm going to say all list items are there, right? Okay, on that one, you use the map function like this. Okay, map function takes a arrow function as an argument. Okay, and in this map function, okay, we are going to receive each and every list item. So I'll say each list item. Okay, each list item will come. Okay, and that is what, okay, see, this each list item, okay, each list item has to be shown here. Okay, each and every list item has to be shown as an li item. Okay, so let me just cut it from outside and say return. Okay, see, this function is going to return you that one division. So let me just create it as a division div, okay, which has this list item. Okay, and it will be showing each and every list item like this. So let me just copy that and put it over here like this. Okay, now let me save it. Okay, and as you can see, the previous array, okay, the square box which was coming here, it has gone right now. Okay, now whatever I type here, that is, it is going to show here at the bottom. Okay, so first let me say learn React. Okay, first let me just refresh the page. Okay, so let me say the first task. So I'm going to say learn React and click on the add button. Okay, and we have got a division which is giving us the first li item. Okay, see guys, each list item. So earlier it was an empty array, as you can see here. Here, okay, it was an empty array, and to the existing value, see guys, existing value was nothing inside this one, but now what it has done, using the spread operator, it has concatenated the value, and the next item it is showing is the input value which they have entered. Okay, now let me enter one more. Okay, I'll say buy milk, hit add button, and you have got one more list item. Okay, and now one last thing, let me do add a class name to that. Let's say margin bottom hyphen 2. Okay, I just want margin at the bottom of each list item, so I have used that code. So as you can see, we are getting that particular value like that. Okay, now along with this uh, list item, okay, see guys, we have got now two divisions. Okay, these two divisions are there, which is showing me L1 item, li items. Okay, but here in React, okay, what I will have to do is I will have to have a unique key for each and every uh, items. Okay, we have to have a unique key for that. So what I'm going to say, I'm going to use the index values, okay, of each and every div, okay, which starts from 0 1 2 3 like that. Okay, so we have to pass a property that is called as key only, and that key is going to be the index value. Okay, that key is going to be the index value of that particular division, which is going to give you these two items which we have entered inside the input field. Okay, now along with this list item, okay, I want a delete button over here. So when I click on this, okay, whatever index of this particular item, that should get deleted. So along with this list item, okay, let's add a button. Let's add a button which says del. Okay, and let's add first, let me just show you. Okay, so we have the delete item over here. Okay, and first let us make it like a proper button. So let me say class name is equal to btn button. Okay, see, let me save it, and it looks like a button right now. And btn, I want to make it as a danger. Okay, red color button I want. Okay, button danger it says. Okay, now I want this list li item and this delete button to be in one single line. Okay, one list item, see this list item, here the delete button. Okay, in order to do that, I'm going to use a bootstrap class name that is called as flexer, display flexer. So on this division, okay, on this division, I'm going to use a class name equal to d hyphen flex. Let's save it. Okay, so as you can see, now both the elements, okay, are one next to each other. Okay, and first of all, let's make this delete button a small button. So btn hyphen sm. SM stands for small, and as you can see, we have got a small button right now, but I'm not seeing any gap in between. Okay, for that reason, what I will do is, let me just bring this to the bottom like this so that it will be very easy to see. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add one more class name, that is justify hyphen content hyphen between. Okay, let's save it, and as you can see, each and every list item right now appears on the left side. Now delete button will be on the right side. Okay, let's increase the margin bottom little bit, little bit more. Okay, like mb hyphen 3, and as you can see, we have increased the margin like this. Okay, and for the button also, okay, margin hyphen 3. Okay, let me give margin on all the sides of this button. So I'm just saying like this. Okay, so as you can see, we have for each and every item, okay, we have got the uh, this one, okay, margins, and for this one also, let me keep like this and let's check. Okay, this one also looks much better. Okay, but margin is too much. Let me just make it as margin 1 pixel, even for the button as well as for the list item. Okay, so I think this looks much better. Okay, now let me add one more task. Okay, let me say learn Java. Hit add, and as you can see, we have got the third item as well. Okay, so we have successfully created each a, each and every division which will have our list li item as well as the delete button. By clicking on the delete button, that particular item's index will go to a function and delete this particular item from the list. Okay, now let's do that part of the code. Okay, now this button is the delete button, so let me just come here at the bottom like this, and let us create an event, okay, for this one also. So I'm going to say on click of the delete button. Okay, so I'm going to make a function called as delete items. Okay, see, this is going to be the function which will get created. So let me just copy this name, okay, and put it over here. Okay, so we have a function, okay, in which we will have to pass one index value of that particular variable which we want to delete. Okay, which we want to delete. Okay, and we'll make it as a function like this, function delete items. Okay, we'll pass the index values. Okay, first what I'm going to do is the entire list. See, this is the entire array. Okay, and I'm going to say all the values. Okay, I'm using the spread operator, and I'm saying all list items are there, right? Okay, you store it inside a new array called as constant new list. Okay, so all the items, okay, using the spread operator, we have stored it inside this new variable array called as new list. Okay, now what I'm going to do is from this new list, okay, which has already all the elements, I'm going to use the splice function. Okay, and I'm going to say delete this particular index values, and that one value itself we have to delete, so I'm going to give it as 1. Okay, and now I'm going to use the setup function, that is set all the list items. Okay, and pass that new list values inside that one. Okay, so this is how, okay, an item is going to get deleted from your entire list of items. Okay, and the new list which will not be having the deleted item will be the new state of all the list item array. Okay, so let me just save it. Okay, and let me come back here to the code here at line number 45. Okay, so what I'm saying here is, see, the prop index, okay, the key value index is going to be the unique for each and every item. Learn React, buy milk, and learn Java, like that. Okay, this okay, function has to be called like this, and that value of index has to be passed inside that one. Okay, but in order to do this, we'll have to create an arrow function like this. Okay, which is going to call that delete function and pass our index values inside that. Okay, then only we'll be able to send some information like this. Okay, delete item of this particular index at one value when I click on this delete button, and this will get triggered when we click on that particular button. We have that click event like this. Okay, now let me just refresh this. Okay, now we don't have any kind of task. Okay, so let me just say learn React is the first task. Okay, let me just click on the add button and we are done. Okay, then I'll say learn Python, click on add button, and we are going to get that particular item as well. Okay, now when I click on this delete button, the first item, this item whose index is 0, that should get deleted. Okay, so now let me click. So as you can see, that item also got deleted. So learn Python, click on delete, that item also got deleted. Okay, so let me add a few more tasks like this. Learn Java, hit the add button, it got added. Okay, so I'll say learn React, hit the add button, learn JavaScript, click on add, that also got item added. Okay, so I'll say buy milk, that also got added. Okay, so now I'll click on the delete button for learn JavaScript. Okay, that item got deleted. Okay, see, this is how you create okay, this is how you create the to do app in React using all the JavaScript, HTML, Bootstrap, CSS concepts. Okay, I hope you like this video. Okay, please like and subscribe my channel. Okay, I'll be posting a lot of videos like this, small applications where I'll be teaching you first the JavaScript concepts. Okay, and then the React concepts where I'm going to use those JavaScript code. Okay, step by step, like this. And this course, okay, or this tutorial is for the absolute beginners. Okay, who do not have any kind of coding experience also can learn from this. Okay, so thank you very much for watching. Okay, and the code, okay, I'll be sharing the link in the description for the GitHub link. Okay, you can download the source code from there. Okay, thank you very much.